Hey guys, hope everyone's staying safe. This is lesson 3 of our e-learning, and I thought today we could do something that I saw actually a student picked as their object for the first lesson that we did, where you guys got to pick an object. Amanda picked her shoe and it came out so good, so I thought, why not have everyone do a drawing of a shoe? I'm going to post a picture of this specific shoe the same way that I'm drawing it. So if you want to draw this shoe, you can, since my tutorial will walk you through the steps of drawing this specific shoe. But if you have a shoe in mind that you want to try and draw instead, you can do a completely different shoe. So what I did was I went ahead and I took some notes on how to draw a shoe. I'm going to post these notes on Schoology, and then I also broke the drawing process down into a few different steps, so that way you guys are not overwhelmed by the amount of shapes and stuff that's seen in the shoe. So I am going to try to make this as simple as possible, so just bear with me. I'm going to arrange my shoe really quick before we get started. And then you have to decide kind of what view you want to see your shoe in. I'm going to do the side view that you see on the screen. I'm going to have the shoe flat eye level so that I'm looking at the right details. And that's about it. But you guys get to pick what shoe you're going to draw, and then also what kind of view that you're going to use. Again, I'm doing all my tutorials. I'm just going to be using pencil. I have my sharpener in case I need to sharpen it, and then I also have an eraser. So pencil and paper is really all you'll need. Hopefully everyone has a sharpener in case their pencil goes down. But good luck. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my notes. So the first thing that you want to do is sketch the horizontal line that your shoe is on. So the bottom of your shoe. And then you'll notice that even when you're looking at it, it starts to go up in space, so that we're going to try to mimic that drawing. So I'm going to draw my shoe, my line. You guys can decide how long you make it. A little known fact that you guys may not know, your foot is the same size as your arm, from your this crease to your wrist. So if you don't believe me, you can go ahead and try it on your own. Put your foot to your arm. It should be the same size. So our bodies are weird like that. Our face has a lot of things that are similar too, like that. We can go over drawing faces later in the week. So we have our horizontal line, and it's curved up where the toe of the foot is. Draw very lightly because you might need to erase. And we're also going to draw the back of the shoe very quickly. All of our beginning lines are very quick and gesturally, which just means that you're not going to be caught up on too much of the detail. And then we have a line for where the shoe starts. And then we have where our tongue is for the shoe. Okay. So once you have the outline of the shoe, we can go ahead and start adding placement of things. So you want to make sure that you have a good outline and that you like it before you start adding the panels of the shoe. The Air Jordan shoe actually has a lot of different panels. So I'm just going to loosely sketch in my panels. So I see, if I'm just looking at my shoe, I can see that there's a panel. I'm just going to loosely draw in some of the shapes that I'm looking at. There's a panel there. There's a black panel that goes around the shoe. There's a white panel. There's a little swervy panel. And again, I'm drawing these quick and loose so that I don't get too caught up if I make a mistake. And then the center panel is actually where the Nike swoosh is. And before I go any further, I'm actually going to break the heel of the shoe up because there's this thicker part at the bottom. I don't want to forget that part. So what I just did was I drew all the different sections of the shoe that I can see. So I'm going to go over with, I'm going to look with my eye, and I'm going to look at my drawing, and I'm going to look at my shoe, and I'm going to try to go over the different sections even more in detail. So over here at the top, we've got where the shoe is, and then we've got, this is white, and then up here it becomes black. So this part is black, and then it like curves in. So now I'm just taking my sections, my panels that I just made, and I'm making them a little bit more definite because before it was very loose, but now I kind of want to get a better look at them and see what I can tighten up. I'm still not adding fine detail because that's going to come at the very end. This is like the tongue of the shoe right here. So this is the tongue, this is the other back part of the shoe. This is like where the foot goes in over here. So I'm just really sketching out that shape. Okay, from here, I'm actually going to get ready to put my little swoosh sign for the Nike. I'm actually going to do that by making an egg shape. And the egg shape is kind of like on its side. So imagine that this is the top of the egg, and this is the bottom of the egg. And it's going in the center of this middle panel where like the center of the foot would be. So we're just making a nice little egg shape. Okay, then I've already started over here. I don't know if you can tell. So this line here, I'm going to show you with this shoe. So what I'm drawing is this is white, and then this is like the silver swoosh, and then it's black. So it goes black, white, gray, and then black again. So this is my black, this is my white. This would be where my swoosh starts. Okay, and then this black section would be where my swoosh ends. So it's black, white, gray, black. Okay, so with the swoosh, I'm actually going to draw the lines kind of where they start to come down. And then this is the bottom line. So the bottom line comes from the back of the shoe, and it comes to the bottom of the egg. Right? So this is the bottom line, comes from the back of the shoe, and then comes down on a diagonal. And then the top line is very similar to the bottom line. It's just moved up about like a 1/2 inch. So I measured things using my hands. So 1/2 inch is actually like about the size of your thumbnail. So if you want to take that into consideration when you're planning how high it should go. So that's where my top line is going to be. So this is my swoosh right here, this gray part. Then for the actual part where it like hooks up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my egg and I'm actually going to draw a vertical line near the center of the egg going down. So that's going to be like where it swooshes. So that line is going to connect to the lines I was drawing for the swoosh. And then the rest of the egg is going to be the actual swoosh, Nike swoosh. So you kind of just let the shape of the egg define the way that swoosh looks. And then you could erase the top of the egg because you're not going to need it anymore. That would be the best way that I can describe the way it should look. It's actually a little thinner coming down, so you could also make any adjustments that you need. Okay, from here, after we've drawn the swoosh, I would like to focus a little bit on the logo for the Air Jordan. So this one is probably the most detailed part of the shoe. So I'm going to break it down because I like to break things down to to smaller shapes. So first I'm going to draw a circle. The circle, so let's imagine, let me show you. So this is what I'm drawing right here, this Air Jordan part. I'm going to draw a big circle just for this shape of the entire piece. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle for the part that says like where the Air Jordan is. Okay, and then I'm going to draw like a half oval so that we can see where the space is going to go for the wings of the logo. And then when we're completely done, we're going to make details for it, and we're going to draw the basketball, and then we'll draw the wings. But first, we're just going to get that shape. Okay, so like I said, first we're going to draw a circle. I always like to typically use something to draw a circle, get that shape in. But since we're like, short on time, I'm just going to freehand draw a circle right in the area where the logo would be. Okay, from there, I'm going to draw a very thin and very long vertical. So it's going to go through the top of my circle. Just like that. And then from there, after I draw my rectangle, I'm going to draw a half oval. The half oval is going to be just above where the bottom is. So here's the bottom of the circle. And then we're going to draw from here, from the rectangle, we're going to draw an oval that goes across. Eventually that oval is going to become wings. So this logo is not going to stay like this. So I just needed you guys to get the shape drawn in. From there, we could start to add more details. So we could actually erase the inside. Now that we have kind of like the shape that we were looking for, we can erase all of this inside because we only want that outline. And then from the oval that we just drew, we could actually start to turn that in to more detailed wings. And if you need to go longer, you can. So the basketball kind of rests in the center. Then this around the basketball says Air Jordan. And then these all kind of have their own detail. It's going vertical. And then these kind of like okay. So it's not perfect, but I mean, it has a lot of work that could be done. But before we start to get too focused in on one section of the shoe, I always like to make sure that everything is kind of built up at the same time. So I'm going to start looking at my shoe and making any corrections that I think need to be made before I start adding all the details. So the things that I'm looking for are placement and things like that. So I like to just start from the top and then work my way down. And this time around, like, you could actually just do it just like eyeballing. So I'm just eyeballing what I'm looking at. I could actually, if I bring it too close in, you guys can't see the drawing. So I'm just gonna like hold it. So I look the top, goes around, comes down, there's a little circle here. Okay, this part looks good. I'm going to erase this part because it's the wrong shape. So I just start to do this with all of my sections. And then as you're going, you can start to see where you're going to start to add your shoelaces in. So as you're checking for proportions, if the proportions look good, you can start to add in some of those finer details. Whoops. I'm a little annoyed because this part's supposed to be much thicker, the bottom of the shoe. So what I could do instead of going up, because that's going to start to mess with all my proportions, I guess I could go a little up if I wanted. But this section is already too small, so I can't really do that. So what I could essentially do, go up at the back and then just add a little at the bottom. And then I could erase. You can start to block in color as well. So like I know this part is going to be dark. So if I want to shade it as I'm kind of figuring out everything, I could shade that. And then it goes silver, white, this could all come down a little bit. This is why I don't get too caught up in stuff before I'm done with checking my proportions, because you never know. Sometimes you could place things in the wrong area. You might have to move something. A line might be off for like the way something is supposed to look. So you never want to get too caught in before you're ready to do all the details. And what's going to help your shoe to pop is adding kind of the value that you see, but also like contrast. So contrast, the difference between value and contrast. Value is the range from lights and dark. So it's like dark, medium gray, light gray, white. But then contrast is the difference between lights and dark. So if I really wanted, I should probably get a thinner eraser and kind of go over this whole symbol, because this is supposed to be the brightest thing about the shoe. Then this part is white.